What's going on, everybody? We are back on the Ranger again today, and now we are going to be switching the tires and wheels off the black one outside onto this one, and then we'll go from there and see what else we come up with today. So I wanted to get this on video. On the other side, on the driver's side, in the last video I showed that somebody beat the hell out of the hub and screwed it up. And I'm guessing the reason that they did that is because whenever I pulled this tire off, the hub stayed with it. So I'm probably going to have to knock that out of there. And I know that eventually I'm going to have to pull these tires and wheels back off to change the hubs whenever I do buy them. But for now, I just want tires on here that hold air so that every time I go to move this thing, or if I want to test drive it and continue working on it, I don't have to air the tires up every time. Well, I got all 4 tires and wheels put on here, and on this hub over here, I ended up messing it up even more because I had to get a big hammer out. I couldn't use a rubber mallet. I had to use a big hammer and drive it out of that wheel. I anti-seized it whenever I put it on this one. But I will be getting a new hub soon. So in the same fashion that I did on the old Geo trucker, if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Anyhow, I'm going to have to modify the center caps for the locking hub. And I'll probably do just what I did on them too. And I believe I can cut that out and that'll work just fine. This way it'll still look okay and I'll be able to use my hubs. So next up on my list of things to do is going to be modify this center cap to fit over them locking hubs. So well, see if that fits. And just like I expected, that there worked out pretty good. It's on there, you can turn the hubs. I don't think that looks too hateful. Well, next up, we're going to put a new battery in here. I went ahead and picked one up at Royal King. They had them on sale for like $59. So, get my boat battery back so I can put this one in here. And as to be expected for a 20-some-year-old truck, the battery terminals are screwed up, bolts and stuff. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the old Ranger here, how she's coming along. I think she's turning out alright. I think next we need to give it a bath. Just to get some of the grime off of it, because it's been sitting for a long time. So I might pressure wash this thing. Well, she ain't no show queen, but boy, does she look better than what she did. Thing actually didn't clean up too bad. Actually, getting a little bit more excited about getting her fixed and on the road. I gotta get rid of all these goofy decals on here. I mean, I'm a deer hunter and I like deer hunting and all, but it's just a little bit too much. So, I'm gonna get rid of that, and then I've got to peel this window tint. You can see how blurry that stuff is. That ain't worth nothing. So I don't know what it is about doing it, but peeling decals to me is just so satisfying. It's just, I don't know, it's just fun. I like doing it. There, that's already looking better. I think, anyhow. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Does the decals look better, or I think it looks better without? It's amazing what a bath and removing a few stickers will do. It just made her look 10 times better. Next, I'm going to get that tint peeled off there. Well, as satisfying as peeling old decals is, peeling old window tint is not that way. However, it does look tremendously better. You can actually see out the window. And the stuff peeled off purple looking whenever it was done. But yeah, that looks way better. And that was one window. I've got 3 more to go. Thank goodness they didn't tint these back windows with that junk. So next up on my list is probably going to be to wire up the stereo in here. And of course, some jackass cut the plug off, so you can't just buy the adapter plug, plug it in, and hook your stereo to it. So I'm going to be Googling this and figuring out what wires are what. I'm assuming all these ones that are twisted together are speaker wires. So then I've just got to diagnose what these other 4 that they left are. And I love how that they used wire nuts. I mean, you can just, that's just grade A stuff right there. So I went on the old Google there, and I found me a diagram here. And I'm just marking out my speaker wires. It's rear left, front left. I'll get the other ones, and I gotta diagnose what the other wires are here and get them ready, and then I'll hook up the stereo. So I'll run you through what I found on the old Googler. That wire right there, it's blue with red on it. That there's for your lights, like if you have a dimmer. This is key switch positive, that's yellow and black. Of course, the black wires, there's one with a green stripe and one that's solid black. Those are both ground. And then there's a green wire with a yellow stripe that is positive all the time. Then these other ones is all your speaker wires. So I'll grab the stereo and we'll wire that in. Alright, I got her all wired up, got her crimped up nice and clean. I went ahead and left that tape on there so I know what everything is. I'm going to go ahead and put in the holder. And the stereo I'm going with is this old Pioneer out of the Geo Trucker. It ought to work good. The only reason I took it out of there was because it doesn't have Bluetooth on it. And there she is all installed. So we'll just stick the old key in her here. Yep. That's what we wanted. She works. So next up, we're going to tear this squirrel cage out of here and get that big mouse nest out of there. And to do that, I'm just going to put the camera up there. And but you got to pull, there's a bolt here. And there's one inside the fender here to get this windshield washer fluid and coolant reservoir out of the way. And then you have to unbolt the air box and move it out of your way so you can get in here and work. This would have been a little bit easier whenever I had the hood off, but I didn't remember to do that then, so I'm doing it now. And like that, we can get in here to get that motor out. So this is a little bit excessive on the ridiculous. This is going to be bad. I guarantee you that AC condenser thing and everything in there is full. Look at that. That is ridiculous. The vents, everything, I guarantee they're plumb full. I'm going to have to go get a shop vac for this. So I went and got old Big Bertha out of the shed here, and we're going to use this to suck this shit out of here. So I took the blower motor and I hosed it out the best I could. And I took the shop vac and sucked everything that I could possibly get out of in here. And I stuck my hand all the way up in there and I couldn't feel nothing else. So what I can't figure out, and I checked over here onto the AC condenser too. Stuck my hand up in there as far as I could. Couldn't feel nothing in there. I can't figure out where they came in at. It had to be for a fresh air vent or something, and I don't know where at. I don't know if maybe they chewed a hole in this box somewhere or something, but I couldn't feel anything and I couldn't find anything. So, I mean, I guess I'm just going to put it back together and hope nothing gets back in here again, but we're going to go from there. Alright, so I went ahead and just put the motor back in there and plugged it in, and we're just going to turn on the key here and see what happens. Alright. Well, oh, there it goes. I'll say it sounded like we might have needed a new motor, but it's blowing and it quit squealing. So it's actually blowing air out pretty decent. Let's see here. Let's go to defrost. Yeah, good there. And let's check the floor. And we're good down there. So that seems to do the trick. At least got all the mouse nest out, and it actually doesn't smell like mouse piss considerably. Well, we got that all bolted back up and taken care of. So I started cleaning this front bumper up here just a little bit. Just hit it with some flapper wheel on the rust, and then some brake cleaner, wiper down, some flat black Rust-Oleum spray paint. And well, all it is a corner right now, but I think that's going to look pretty good. So I'll get the rest of that bumper done. I'll have to get more paint first. That's why I only did the corner. And that right there is good enough for me. I know it looks really glossy right now, but that is flat black paint. So that flat black right there looks pretty good, but I think I might be going with this. It's dark gray. It's darker than primer. And the reason being is because it kind of matches the gray stripes on it. I think it might look a little bit better, but it'll end up matching the gray on the bumper cover. So if I do the fender flares and the front bumper in this, I think it might just look a little bit better. I mean, the black isn't going to look bad, but it does stick out unless I paint fender flares and stuff black too. So I don't know. I'm just going to play with it and see what happens. So down here on the bottom of the cab, we've got a little rust spot there, and we got some bubbling here. And inside that door, we got a little area. So I'm going to give her a Hoopie Made specialty paint job here, or paint repair job. Well, I'm going to have to get a hold of my old buddy Tom on that corner there. It's going to need some budget-friendly body works with some Bondo there. This one here is not rusted out, though. This is just rusty. This stuff don't stick out at all, hardly, on this truck. You really got to look for it. I did a spot up here on the front fender, too, where I'm going to do the bumper. You can't even tell. Unless you really look, you can see where I ground the paint down there, but you can't even tell I did anything there. So, after doing a test spot on the front bumper, I decided I'm going to go ahead and go with the gray. So I taped this fender flare up. I'm going to get it cleaned up and go ahead and put some paint on it. I personally think I'm going to like that gray a lot better than I will the flat black. I don't know why, but I think it looks better. So, I came out here. I was supposed to have somebody come over and help me put this bed on tonight, but they can't make it. So, anyhow, I was looking at this bed, and for being a 94 and this thing being in Ohio, it's not in hateful shape, but it's not great. Like the bed floor, these cross members, all that are pretty solid. Other than where like that guard for the muffler and stuff is, that's gone, but I ain't worried about that. But the bed, and then even in the floor, like on the inside, this bed is in really good shape. The bad spots are actually on the outsides. I don't know. That corner's bad. That corner's bad. Right there you can see a little bit of light coming through, and right here this is thin. So I'll probably put this bed on there for temporary, and I might end up building a flatbed for this truck. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll sell the whole truck. I don't know. But as soon as I get some help, I'm going to slap the bed back on the old girl. So I'm going to go ahead and finish painting this up, but I won't waste my time showing you guys. But just a little word of advice, this time here I'm actually taping it off, doing it right. If you don't want to spend money on actual paint paper, just raid your mother-in-law's wrapping paper collection. She buys this stuff after Christmas is over, so she gets a deal on it, and she has an abundance of it. It's perfect, and it works great. So, there's your pro tip, wrapping paper. Well, It may just be me, but I think that looks pretty good for what it is, anyhow. In an old Ford Ranger. It's a little glossy, but it does dull out because this was painted too earlier, and it's drier than that. Still a little bit glossy, but not too hateful. I think it looks pretty good. So, I got my new hubs in the mail today, and I think my dad might be coming over. He's going to help me. I'm going to have him pump the brakes. I'm going to bleed these front brakes out because I've never done that, even though it's got decent pedal. Still just do that, and then I'll probably get him to help me set the bed back on here so I can get that done. Went ahead and pulled the tire off, and as far as for these hubs on these older ones here, it's literally this simple. This one's still good. I'm going to save it for a spare. The other side's the one that's bad, but it's just pull that off, stick the new one up there, spin it till the splines line up here, and it pops on. I mean, it's literally that. Then the wheel goes on, and that's what holds it all. And then you can still spin it here. Whenever you lock it. Oh, there. It's spinning the axle now. Before, in the free position, the axle doesn't spin. It's just a hub. Well, we got the new front hubs on, and went ahead and bled those front brakes out real quick. So, don't have the bed on yet, but I wanted to just go take this thing for a test drive. Just drive it around and see how everything works. So, went ahead and went for my test drive. Thing did great. Put it in second gear and lugged it up over a hill and just let it idle up across there, chugging, just to make sure it was going to do it and had enough power and stuff. But anyhow, my dad wasn't able to come over tonight to help me, so I'm just going to make an attempt at putting this bed on by myself. This could be a total fail, but if it is, then you guys will get a laugh out of it. Well, that wasn't too hateful. So, it's starting to rain a little bit here. I'm going to pull it in the garage and we'll get this finished. Well, it's in the garage here. I'm going to get the Torx bit and get the bolts and get ready to put them in here. So, I've already showed you this bed evaluation, but I mean, this bed is absolutely horrible on the outside. Like I said, the inside of this thing is actually in really good shape. But like that and that corner there, it's shot. So this thing is going to be short-lived on here. I will be deleting this, building a flatbed or something in the near future. But for now, I am going to put it on, but I am going to coat those bolts just absolutely in anti-seize before I run them down in here. Man, this truck was turning out decent until this bed. And this is just, it's kind of upsetting. But it is what it is. I don't have the money right this second to put into building a flatbed. So I'll probably go ahead and wash this bed so I can paint these fender flares so that at least they'll match and look like I put some kind of effort into this thing. And then we'll go ahead and throw the tail lights and stuff back in it and get them plugged in and make sure they all work. So this tail light over here doesn't want to fit right because of all the whiskey dents in this truck. So I'm just taking a body hammer and beating the hell out of it, trying to make it fit. And it kind of worked somewhat, somewhat it didn't. So I'm probably going to grab a drill bit and just drill these holes out a little bit bigger. And so hopefully I can get the screws in them. Like I said, I don't care about this truck bed. It's junk anyhow. So I just need something to put on it to drive it for now. So the tailgate for this, it isn't too hateful. It's got a little bit of rust in the bottom of it, and then it's got this dent in it over here. But whenever I picked this 98 up, I got real excited because the tailgate on it was in really good shape. And then my dumbass left it lay right here on the ground, and then I parked the dozer right here and ran it over. So it's actually in worse shape now, other than it's not rusted out. So, but otherwise I'd be using this tailgate because it was in really good shape. So I pulled that tailgate cover off there and it was clear plumb full of ants. So I'm gonna get rid of them. So I'm wanting to pull this tailgate cover off here so I can get down in here and lube everything up good. Well, there we go. The bed's completely on there. I got to paint these fender flares still. And then we're going to do the inside. I got some interior work to do in there. Yeah, you can see all the whiskey dents in the side of this thing. Just all the rust. The bed's just no good. Then I almost forgot. We're going to go under here. Oh. Try not to hit our head on the hitch. But you gotta plug these taillights back in here. That just plugs in like that, and it's got this goofy trailer wire connector here. It was just a plug and play deal. I'm probably gonna figure out a way to route this somewhere a little bit more friendly. Maybe throw a few zip ties in here. And of course, I can't do anything without a helper. You just gotta be right in here, don't you, bud? So I half-assedly taped this off on the bed because I'm not too worried about the overspray on it. Wipe it off with some brake clean. But I'm going to go ahead and get these fender flares painted. And ta-da! It's done. Just got to peel some tape here. Let's see if I can get the hold of it. That don't look too bad for being a beat up old piece of junk. Well, I didn't do nothing real fancy to the inside, just cleaned it up just a little bit. I mean, the carpet's still pretty stained, and I'll put some floor mats in here, but it certainly smells a lot better, and cleaned all the grime off the steering wheel and off the door handles, and so I think that there ought to do the trick. I forgot to start recording this. My old buddy Tom, he come over to help me here with this panel. we got a patch off the other truck there, and we're gonna fix her on here. So we started cutting a patch out here, and then for some reason decided to look on the inside and realized we weren't up quite high enough. There's some rust down in there. So we're moving our mark up, and then we're gonna cut this big chunk out.
Wet.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Start the air compressor so we can blow that out.
Gotta let that cool down just a little bit. It's getting a little warm there. Don't want to end up warping everything. So we ran out of time here tonight. I ground that down some, and we just sprayed some primer on it. We'll let it dry because we won't be able to work on this for a little while again. And this way we can pull it outside and we ain't got to worry about that rusting up. We're back in here today. We're getting ready to grind that primer off there, and we're going to finish this up. She's coming along. So I ordered me a new tool, and it didn't come yet. So I went ahead and I'm going to try to make me a makeshift one here. We're going to see how this works. This is going to be funny. It's somewhat working, but I don't know if you can see that it's cutting my tape. But I did order the actual right thing, and it should be here in a week or so. Always remember that leftover Christmas paper comes in handy. That old Rust-Oleum blends in really well, actually. Some pretty good cheap body repairs. Well, guys, there you have it. I think all in all, this old truck turned out pretty good, and I think it'll be good to go. That's going to conclude this build series on this Ford Ranger here. So if you guys like videos like this, go check out the rest of my channel. I appreciate you watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.